Hey guys, welcome to part 32 of Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver. In the last part we did the first two members of the Elite Four, so now in this part we're going to do the second two. And straight away it's Bruno, who returns from the original Elite Four. I think he's actually the only one to return from the original ones. I don't know why Game Freak loved Bruno so much, but I guess here he is once again. So his specialty type is fighting type, so I'll be honest, going into this battle I was not concerned at all. I was like, well, because in case you don't know, fighting type is weak to flying type and psychic type. So I have Hawkins that has fly, which is pretty effective, and I have Mr. Sublime. So really I didn't stress too much about doing this battle. I just thought either way I was going to be okay. And also in the original games I would say that Bruno is probably the easiest Elite Four member to defeat, and I probably wouldn't say that about Bruno now, but I would probably say that Will, the psychic guy, is the easiest one to take out just because he has the lowest level Pokemon. But in the original, this guy I would say is the easiest, so I wasn't too worried going into it. So straight away I managed to get Hitmontop with Fly, because Hitmontop is his first Pokemon and one of his weakest ones, so I didn't really want to send out Mr. Sublime straight away, so I just used Hawkins and used a couple of flies, no big deal. Next Pokemon is Hitmonchan, which similar kind of deal, but I didn't think, this Hitmonchan knows Thunder Punch, I believe. Yeah, he knows Thunder Punch, so obviously if I kept Hawkins out, Hitmonchan was just going to hit it with one Thunder Punch, and I'm assuming that it probably would have killed it in one, so I thought it was the safer bet to go with Mr. Sublime and just hit it with a couple of Psychics rather than risk Hawkins dying, because if Hawkins died then I have to revive him and that would be a whole hassle, so I ended up not doing that. So that's already two of his Pokemon down. You can see why I didn't really sweat this battle going into it. Next one is Onyx, which again, Onyx is pretty easy to take out. You should have a water type at this point. I did with Mega Dude, so naturally I just sent out Mega Dude and used Surf. I could have used Waterfall, but Onyx is a lot more defensive than he is special defensive, so I just played it safe and hit it with a Surf. And I mean, it's kind of weird how Onyx is, whenever I see one in this game or any of the games, I'm never concerned. I've never been messed up by an Onyx, apart from maybe the Brock's Onyx in the original, you know. If you pick Charmander, then that might mess you up, but other than that, not a big deal. So strongest Pokemon is Machamp, so I wasn't too sure about who to send out here because it is his strongest Pokemon, but it's not the Pokemon that I have the most trouble with in this battle. So I was like, do I send out Hawkins and just try and, you know, lower its health, or do I send out Mr. Sublime and make sure it's dead? Because even though I haven't had any trouble with this Machamp before, I thought maybe it could do some damage. So I went for Hawkins because I thought, well, if Hawkins died I would still have Mr. Sublime, and of course Machamp is pretty slow and Hawkins is, you know, best stat is speed, so naturally I went first. But unfortunately for me, I don't know what's up with this, but a lot of these fighting moves, or more fighting moves than I would think, actually hits Pokemon in the air, and it's kind of annoying. I didn't expect Revenge to actually be able to hit Hawkins. I probably should have gone for a Wing Attack to make sure I hit it. Wing Attack definitely wouldn't have killed it, but it would have done some damage, so that would have been the smart thing to do. But I didn't realise Revenge was going to hit Hawkins. I mean, who knew about that? That was kind of annoying. So my only choice really was to send out Mr. Sublime, because I could have sent out a different Pokemon, I guess, but I don't think it would have done that much damage to it. Or it would have just delayed this battle and would have made the battle last longer than it needed to. So I got quite lucky here that Rock Slide didn't kill Mr. Sublime. Mr. Sublime is taking these hits surprisingly well. Mr. Sublime has really high special attack, but not that high normal defense. So I thought Mr. Sublime would have been long dead by this point, but I got kind of lucky, kind of not lucky, because it was just how much damage it did. And Mr. Sublime still has 2 HP now, so Mr. Sublime is just about alive. So I knew basically Hitmonlee is the Pokemon that I had the most trouble with by far. I don't know what it is about this Pokemon that I had so much grief with it, but it wouldn't die. It just takes far too long for me to take it out. It survives a lot longer than it probably should and just does so much damage. So The reason why I sent out an E-Rock is because E-Rock is weak to fighting type moves, so I thought if I could just let anyone die, it would be E-Rock. So I just needed time to heal up Mr. Sublime before sending him in there, because once I set Mr. Sublime in there, there was a good chance he would die or would have to try and take at least one hit. Although Mr. Sublime is really speedy, so I wasn't too worried about that. So yeah, so E-Rock took the hit, sent in back Mr. Sublime. Of course I was just going to go for the Psychic. I was thinking about using Light Screen, but Light Screen really wouldn't have helped me out at all here, because that only defends against special attack, not normal attack. So, I mean, Reflect would have been really useful in this situation, but I didn't have Reflect, I had Light Screen, so... Hitmonlee also knows Swagger, which means that it makes your Pokemon confused, but really increases your attack quite sharply. So obviously that doesn't make that much of a difference to Mr. Sublime because I'm using normal attacks, but it was still kind of annoying, and I got lucky the first time and the second time with this. You're probably wondering why I'm using Shadow Ball instead of Psychic, and that's because Hitmonlee's special defense was lowered by that Psychic, so I thought I could still do a decent amount of damage with Shadow Ball, and B, I wanted to save my Psychics for the later battles because you only get 10 Psychics and I was already running low by this point, so I thought I'd better not risk it and just use a Shadow Ball. And quite luckily for me, the Shadow Ball also lowered his special defense, so I knew at this point, right, I need something to attack it with a special attack. And I thought I was gonna send in York because York is pretty decent right now, but then I thought out of the two Pokemon, Megadoo probably could take a hit off Hitmonlee and still be okay. Unfortunately for me, straight away it hits me with Swagger again. See, this Hitmonlee is just so irritating, just so incredibly irritating. I mean, not the most irritating of Pokemon, but the fact that it uses Swagger in this way, and I got a bit unlucky, or I was hoping Surf would take it out. I thought a Surf would do enough damage, but it was unfortunate that it didn't. And see, look, Bruno just keeps using his full restores because I easily took out his other Pokemon, no problems. That means he has all his full restores to keep this Hitmonlee alive. And this is the game changer, or the thing that makes this Pokemon hard to take out, this bloody high jump kick. It's so incredibly annoying. In case you don't know what it is, it's this really powerful fighting type move that is really powerful, but if it misses, then the Pokemon Hitmonlee does damage if it misses. But it didn't miss. This is so annoying because high jump kick doesn't have 100% accuracy. It's a massive risk using it, but in the couple of times that I did this battle for this Let's Play, he never missed once. I actually had a lot more trouble taking on Hitmonlee in my original battle, or original version of this, where I ultimately lost the Elite Four, because he just kept using high jump kick and not missing, and it does so much damage and is so powerful, so it was kind of annoying. But and here's something that's awesome. Flamethrower. I had no idea you could learn Flamethrower at this level. I probably should have looked that up just to make sure, or I should have looked into it to see, but I mean, I got kind of lucky with this that it learned Flamethrower during the Elite Four battles, because I mean it's going to come in handy for the next battle, I know, at least. And also I had a mini heart attack there because I accidentally pressed B at a certain time, which meant that I had to go through the whole process again, but for a split second I thought that I accidentally said no, I don't want to learn Flamethrower, which if that would have happened, I probably would have restarted the game and tried again, because I can't let that happen. That'd be crazy. And you probably straight away noticed that York is turned into E-Rock, and that's because I made a slight edit there because I had to heal up all my Pokemon, because I'm not going to go into this battle with injured Pokemon. That'd be Looney Tunes. That'd be nuts. So this is Karen. You know, great name. It's a great name for a woman that's supposed to be really dark and mysterious. Oh, I'm Karen. No, it's dumb. And her specialty is dark types, and I mentioned this before about dark types, that you need to know what's weak against dark to be effective against it, and it's bug and fighting types. So I was pretty much screwed going into this battle, but luckily for me I was trying to take advantage of all the other weaknesses, or all the other type super effective things that the other Pokemon had. Because not many of her Pokemon, I think only Umbreon is purely dark types. All the others have different types as well, or they're not dark type at all. So straight away I sent E-Rock out because I didn't have any real plan to take on the Umbreon. So I just thought I'd hit it with Earthquakes. But then I thought I would just use E-Rock because I didn't really need E-Rock for the rest of the battle and use Explosion. But she craftily, it felt so cheap when this happened. She switched out Gengar that turn when I used Explosion, and it was just so irritating because it probably would have taken out that Umbreon if I managed to hit it with the Explosion, because it's 250 power points, or 250 power, so that was kind of irritating. But sent out Gengar. Of course Gengar is part poison type, and yeah, it's part poison type, which is why Psychic was super effective and took it out. So straight away she sends back in Umbreon, because I think that's something about the AI in all the Pokemon games. If they ever switch a Pokemon, if you then kill that Pokemon, they always switch in the original Pokemon. I've never seen them switch out a Pokemon and then switch in a different Pokemon. I mean, there probably is it probably can happen, I've just never really seen it. So right, so once again I'm up against this Umbreon. I have nothing that's super effective against it, so I thought I'll just use Flamethrower. You know, York has high special attack, Flamethrower is a really good move, so I thought I'll just play it safe and use Flamethrower. But another reason why I sent out York is because this Umbreon has Double Team and it loves using it. It hasn't actually used that many Double Teams yet, or not as many as you would think. I probably could have used Flamethrower a few more times and it got a hit in, but because York knows Swift, I thought I'd play it safe and just keep using Swift, because I knew that, you know, this Umbreon wasn't doing enough damage to York for it to be a problem. That it was, you know, that it wasn't doing enough damage to York, so I knew that I had time to A, hit it with Swifts and slowly lower itself that way, and B, heal up E-Rock, because I thought it was just a good idea, you know. So yeah, so I thought, if it's going to hit itself with a full restore, screw it, I'll hit it with a Flamethrower. And I got lucky that it did hit, because there is a good chance it could have missed. And now we're pretty much in the exact same situation that we were like 30 seconds ago, with Umbreon having a bit low health and me just hitting it with Swifts. But this, bloody Umbreons. This Umbreon didn't give me nearly the same amount of trouble that the Umbreon, or the Evolution Camino girls. You know, that Umbreon gave me a lot more trouble, but this one still has some quite annoying attacks. So straight away when it confused me, I thought, right, well, there's no point in attacking, because there's a 50-50 chance I'll hit it, but there's no way I'll snap out confusion straight away. So I decided to be a bit more smarter about it and thought, right, I'll use these couple of turns where York is confused and might hit itself to heal up E-Rock and heal up York, because Umbreon, like I said, isn't doing that much damage to me, so I thought I had time, so I thought I might as well, rather than risk hitting myself, I might as well heal myself back up. Unfortunately for me, it straight away gets a critical hit, because I either get really lucky with critical hits when I do an Elite Four run in any of the generations, or I get really unlucky. And this run of the Elite Four and fighting them all, I definitely get unlucky with critical hits. In my Pokemon Emerald Let's Play, I got lucky with them, and this one I definitely get unlucky with them. So, I mean, it wasn't too much of a big deal. Once again, York managed to hit it with a Flamethrower, even though it used enough double teams. So I got kind of lucky with that one. So this is the Pokemon that, in my original run of this is what killed me. This is my second proper try of doing this, and this is what killed me, this Pokemon, Houndoom, because it's extremely powerful, it has really good attacks, and it has this attack that I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's going to use it in a second. Yes, Nasty Plot, where it partially increases its special attack, which means that its already amazing attacks are now even better. So what I decided to do, I sent out E-Rock first because I wanted to try and hit it with an Earthquake, because Houndoom is weak to ground, so I thought that if I hit it with an Earthquake I could kill it that way and hope that that would work. As you just saw, E-Rock died, so then I sent out Mega Dude because it's part Fire type, it's a dark Fire type, so I thought I'd send it out and hit it with some water moves. But I got pretty lucky here, this was actually a good thing for me. Of course, Karen sent out File Plume because she knew I was going to use a water type move, so thought she would send out a grass type to try and counteract that. But the reason why this is a good thing is because A, I already have York, because my plan for this Fire Plume I was just going to send out York and use Flamethrower. That's obviously, the obvious thing to do here. So, but what that meant is that the nasty plot that the Houndoom had to that harshly increase its special attack is now gone. So that means I kind of get another chance at attacking it, and maybe I can send out E-Rock again, or I can send out a Pokemon that will be able to take its hits a lot easier, because it needs to use another nasty plot. And that means that at some point I'm going to get a free turn against the thing when it uses nasty plot again. So I was hoping that I could send out Mega Dude and maybe kill it that way, or quickly kill it using Surf or Waterfall before it had a time to beef itself up and start sending out the Dark Pulses. So Fire Plume was no problem. And one thing that was really annoying about this Houndoom, or one of the reasons why I had a big trouble with it, is because it has really high special attack, and Mr. Sublime has really high special defense and has Light Screen. So the natural choice, you would think that I could just send out Mr. Sublime, hit it with some Psychics, use Light Screen, and it'd be all good. But Psychics are not effective against Dark types at all, I don't think. And I think Ghost types as well, so that means that Mr. Sublime has no good attacks against this Houndoom, which meant that I just had to try and use my other Pokemon. Probably would have been a smart idea to send out Mr. Sublime, hit it with a Light Screen and then send it away, but I wanted to try and get as many hits on this thing as possible before it used Nasty Plot, because every turn is really crucial here, because this thing is fast as well. It always attacks first, it has high special attack, and I needed to try and just kill it as quickly as I could. So Mega Dude's now dead, which means that I don't have anything that's super effective against it. So really, one thing I should have probably done is send out the Fluff, because the Fluff has high special defense, but what are you going to do? I didn't really think of that, but the reason why I sent out Hawkins is to use Quick Attack, because Houndoom actually killed a lot of my Pokemon in one in my original try of this. So I thought, right, I can't risk it hitting first, so I thought I'd send out Hawkins and use Quick Attack, although my only one real concern with doing that is that I thought Karen might have one more full restore left, but it appears that it didn't, because she didn't use one, so I mean I got quite lucky there. Her final Pokemon is Murrock, I don't know, I know I mispronounced this Pokemon's name ages ago in one of my other LPs, and Sculpt Jam 20 laughed at me, but against this Pokemon, this Dark Bird dude, it's part Flying type because it's a bird Pokemon, so obviously the natural choice was to use the Fluff, and I thought that to guarantee that I kill it in one, I'll use Charge, because I didn't think it would be able to kill me in that time, and then I just hit it with a Discharge which kills it in one. So not too bad, and I mean, you can have a lot of trouble here, but my Pokemon were the right level, so I wasn't too concerned. So next time in Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver, we are going to take on the champion. So I've been on Song 23, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and join me for the next part where we will hopefully become champion of the world. Well, of this region.